The Rites is the 10th and supposed final entry into the 12-year horror cinematic universe for the Conjuring franchise. This film is directed by Michael Chavis, as he's now directed. This is his fourth consecutive directorial film in the franchise, as he directed 2019's Curse of La Llorona, 2021's Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, as well as 2023's The Nun 2. Also, creator of the franchise and director of the first two films, James Wan has a story credit and producer credit on this film. Back from the other films, of course, is Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are also real people, but in this franchise have been played for 12 years now by Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson. They are kind of done doing cases. They are trying to focus on their lives as their daughter, Judy, who's played this movie by Mia Tomlinson, is growing up, has a boyfriend, beginning her life as they try to become possibly grandparents. They're just trying to learn about moving on beyond the cases. But this family in Pennsylvania is uncovering that their house might be haunted, and this entity might tie all the way back to the birth of Judy Warren. Also in the film is Ben Hardy as Tony, who is Judy's boyfriend in the movie. The film is 2 hours and 15 minutes and is rated R. Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new review here at Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinnerberg. If you guys are new to the channel, guys, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, out-of-theater reactions, box office breakdown shows, all of these things. I've even done 2 ranking videos already for the Conjuring universe, so please subscribe and ring that bell if you're new to the channel, guys. If also, what are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Did you like this film? Did you not like this film? Should this franchise be wrapping up, or do you think they have more juice to continue on? What do you think they will do with the rights of this franchise? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section down below. And also, guys, please hit that thumbs up button. So I was very excited for this movie. I have grown up with the Conjuring universe. It's one of the main horror cinematic universe I've had in my lifetime. And again, the first film came out all the way back when I was basically, yeah, I was 11 years old when the first film came out, and I kind of grew up going to see these films in the theater. I've done multiple ranking videos where I've rewatched all of these films. I've seen basically every film in this franchise at least a minimum of 3 times. So I am very involved with this franchise. And obviously, I was sad that this franchise was ending, but I was also happy because I felt like the spin-offs have kind of killed off the freshness and the energy that the first 2 films of this franchise had. So I totally got why they were wrapping things up. But I was still excited to see Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga play these parts for probably the final time. So let's get my thoughts on Conjuring: Last Rites. And overall, even though I've been heavily defending this franchise, especially the main Conjuring universe, main Conjuring films been so consistent. This to me is easily the weakest film of the main 4 Conjuring films. It's not the worst of the whole franchise, but to me, this was, in my opinion, a run-of-the-mill, mediocre horror film. And for supposedly the big hurrah of this franchise to end on such a whatever note is honestly disappointing. This film plays it extremely safe, and we'll get to part of the story. Now, I will say, compared to this, like is this as bad as The Nun or the first and third Annabelle movie or Curse of La Llorona? No, it's not like an all-time bad horror movie. It's not going to be in the bottom 3 or 4 of this whole franchise. But again, what makes this movie as watchable as it is the unbelievable chemistry from Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. Ed and Lorraine Warren have always been the heart and beating soul of this franchise. Even some of the other spin-off movies had to have them cameo. So the movie had a little bit more interesting things going on, because the main interesting thing going on was the fact that these are real people. Ed and Lorraine Warren were real people. They sadly passed away a couple years ago, but these were real people, real cases that this franchise obviously is over-exaggerating to these horror franchises, but these were true people who did paranormal investigations. And that element always made this franchise stand out, because these weren't just made up people. And one of my favorite parts is when you get the end credits, when they show you what the real investigations was and all of that stuff. find that very enjoyable. But Wilson and Farmiga are forever going to be horror icons for playing Lorraine and Ed Warren. They have unbelievable chemistry. They have different unique character traits. Obviously, Lorraine has like the visions. And Ed is very determined and focused on all of these cases. But you really feel their chemistry, why they care for each other. It's hard not to root for Ed and Lorraine Warren in these movies. They're watchable, and it only helps the movie that they are obviously the lead characters. Also, this film is very, like, from a production design, very well made. The movie takes place in the 80s, and there's some cool, like, I think they were like maybe drone shots where there's a one shot where it comes out of the house and they go right to the front door with a really cool shot. Ben Hardy as the character of Tony, I surprisingly liked. His arc had a lot more interesting things going on than I was expecting going in. And I think if you're a fan of this franchise, this definitely gives you that nostalgia of the franchise wrapping up. And as someone again who likes this franchise, it definitely tugs my heartstrings as things were heading down the home stretch. Understanding that this is the final film of this franchise. As I said, it's hard not to hear about the lead characters. They're charming. There's nothing egregiously bad in this movie. I just, again, found it to be very mid, as they say, horror film. And Michael Chavis, to me, is a usually a pretty good director for this franchise. I really did not like Curse of La Llorona, but I thought he did a solid job with both the last Conjuring film, Devil Made Me Do It, as well as The Nun 2. But it just feels like this is a run-of-the-mill retread of other Conjuring films. I think when people who maybe haven't seen this franchise and they have an idea on what these movies are, here is Conjuring Last Rites. Because this movie has so many repetitive jump scare scenes where every jump scare in this movie is reliant on no movie score, walking through hallways, a door, something, and then you think it's there, and then poof, it's right behind the person. It's just some of the laziest, repetitive jump scares that basically every single film in this franchise has used. And I think if the film was ending what this film is ending the franchise. I thought they actually could have maybe hired a different filmmaker to maybe still give this film enough energy, juice, and freshness. But because it's the same director of the last three films in the franchise, and I understand they want to keep everything consistent, but at times, Chavis feels like he's trying to do the best James Wan impersonation on these shots and the way he directs. And you just don't feel the intensity in this film that you did at all in the first two Conjuring films. Now, also a big reason for that is the family that were investigating the Warrens are helping in this situation. You just don't care about them. They're a very stereotypical family, just like the first two films. It's a big family, multiple kids. And people are not believing, people are believing it. It's just there's no. What's great about the first two films are yes, are the Warrens fantastic? Yes, but you also felt the innocence of the families, especially the children, in the first two Conjuring movies. And just as much as you cared for the Warrens, you also cared about the family making it out. And in this film, you just do not care about this family at all. And I think the movie should have done a much better job giving that more of a focus. And the movie's also really heavily focused on Judy Warren, who they've really tried to make interesting in this franchise. Multiple different actors have played her in these 12 years. And I just think Judy Warren's never been that interesting of a character. The reasons why she doesn't tell her mom why things are happening to her don't, or why she's not telling Lorraine what's going on makes no sense. And if she did, we really wouldn't have a movie here because she has to keep lying to her parents the whole movie. That's how we get these big reveals as the film goes on. As I said, this felt like just a lazy way, in my opinion, to end the franchise. It felt like just an easy, let's just end the franchise on this note. I thought they could have either had a different director, writer, something to the franchise that could have maybe felt like we were back to the first film in 2013. But because it's the same filmmaker, everyone's the same. This definitely feels like the franchise did run out of ideas and really should be coming to a close. So, as someone who I still love the franchise overall, especially the first two Conjuring films. There are films in this franchise I'm going to rewatch for years to come. but this is definitely a whimper to end this 12-year franchise. So overall, I'm giving Conjuring The Last Rites a 2.5 out of 5. I am going 51% for The Conjuring Last Rites. What are your thoughts on this film, guys? Let me know down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in another video very, very soon.